we're back taking a look at a deck that I've seen around here floating around in the Timeless queue, and I wanted to give this Is It Surveil deck a try. And in doing so, I kind of wanted to see if we could expand on it a little bit and splash black in order to have access to both more of the new Surveil lands and to have access to Dimir's Spybug, a pretty cool card here that when you Surveil, you can put a 1/1 counter on this thing. So the Is It version of this deck is using DRCs and basically a lot of spells that incidentally cause you to Surveil in order to get the payoff of having Thoughtbound Phantasms on the battlefield that get super, super big and can attack as if they don't have Defender once you put enough counters on them. So if we go into black here, the Is It deck becomes Grixis and will be able to have 2 such creatures that get bigger when we Surveil. And, you know, having 8 hits in terms of cards that benefit from Surveil is pretty important when we're playing a lot of cards that you might not necessarily always play, but we do want to have in this deck because of Surveil. So that addresses one of the black cards. The other black card is Disinformation Campaign, a card from not the original Ravnica, but the second time that we went to Ravnica. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and an opponent discards a card, and when you Surveil, this can come back to your hand. So we'll see if this ends up being an engine for us. It's just 2 copies of it, so if it doesn't come up, oh well. But at the very least, it's an opportunity for us to start hitting our opponent's hand a bit. Maybe it'll be relevant in a late game somewhere. When it comes to surveillance or surveilling, Enhanced Surveillance gives us 2 additional cards to look at every time we surveil, so that's pretty nice. And then if we happen to play mill, which is for sure not even really going to happen in these leagues since I don't really see it that much, you can shuffle your graveyard into your library with this card, so that's cool. Underworld Breach here is basically here to... since we're surveilling so much, we wanted to have a situation where we can use those cards that we surveil. So instead of running like a Croxar or something like that, we're going for Underworld Breach, where we can recast a lot of these spells, re-trigger a DRC, you know, put things into our graveyard even more, and we may even be able to kind of just like cast enough spells that the Thoughtbound Phantasm and Dimir's Spybug get big enough to one-shot our opponents. In terms of things that surveil, Tagham's Scheming, a new card that surveils 5, which is pretty gnarly. That can be a Surveil 7 with Enhanced Surveillance, which is just crazy. Absolutely great card selection. Unfortunately, Surveil does not actually mean a draw, but we'll be able to set up our next draw pretty good. Mishra's Bauble is going to help us actually cash in on these draws and all these surveillings that we're doing to set up a draw, and Consider itself allows us to surveil and then draw a card, so that's pretty nice too. And then Otherworldly Gaze, again, a surveil card, and basically just our creatures down here. The 2 things that need to surveil, and then the DRC that is just generally going to be fueling surveil, and it'll be a 3/3 very quickly. In terms of the land base, I'm running 3 of each of the... Oops, sorry, not that one. I'm running 3 of the new Surveil lands for each of the color pairs in Grixis. So that's Raucous Theater, Thundering Falls, and Undercity Sewers. I don't have a full play set of any of these, but I don't think I would play 4 of if I were, even if I had them, just because having so many tap lands is a little awkward in this kind of deck, even with the access to so many fetch lands. So let's go ahead and see what this deck can do. Hopefully it'll be a fun one. Make sure to like the video and comment on it. Let me know if you played the deck, and subscribe if you're new for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you in round 1. Alright, we got round 1 here. Let's see what we can make work. We start off with a hand that has some cards that aren't necessarily immediately useful. I'm looking at Disinformation Campaign and Underworld Breach, but Consider and Otherworldly Gaze do get me started. The question is, do I want to leverage those cards, or do I want to just mulligan and take a hand that actually has creatures to start with? And I think I'd rather mulligan. Here are 2 creatures that want us to surveil. We have 2 surveil lands in hand, so I think I definitely keep this one. Mishra's Bauble can replace something, and the question is, can I survive if I get rid of this Blood Crypt? I probably want to have 2 actual lands here, and then I think that having the surveil would be pretty solid, although I think I'm okay just taking 1. We'll do it like this. So I can immediately go ahead and Polluted Delta. We'll take a Watery Grave. Watery Grave is our 1 of right here. And here's our Thoughtbound Phantasm. We'll cast the Mishra's Bauble as well. Start to get working on our graveyard. Opponent is at least on red. We draw another Phantasm, so we'll definitely hold on for this Thundering Falls. I think I'll play the Dimir Spybug now, actually. No attacks, but then the next turn we go Thoughtbound Phantasm and then profit most off of Thundering Falls. Definitely a greedy play, but we'll see if it ends up working. And it's actually probably the right play to not do anything about this Phantasm because we only have one Surveil. So it's going to be quite a while till it can attack, but it will be a 5/5 at some point. So opponent's probably on mono red here. We have to hope that they don't decide to kill my Spybug. We'll go ahead and drop this one out, and here is our Surveil land. We're looking for, probably Consider would be nice. Big triggers coming out of everything here. Let's get in with the Spybug. And if they don't kill our Phantasms, they'll eventually grow out of reach. So any creatures that they have are going to be kind of not useful. The only issue is I think this is just a spells only, I'm going to kill you really quick deck. So I'm not really doing anything this next turn. I may end up just being dead. We're going to get rid of the Spybug. We just want to find another way to Surveil. Tagum Scheming is the one, so we do actually get to put them on a 2-turn clock here. Here's Tagum Scheming. We'll Surveil pretty much everything into the graveyard, I believe. I guess, yeah, everything goes. And then we could have tapped in Steam Vents. For the trigger, and now we can attack in 10. And unless they have 3 damage in this 4-card hand, which I think they must have, we are going to be dead. I think it's not going to matter, because I think we're getting hit for 3 now anyway. So we're definitely dead. Now the question is, would this last card have killed me? Because if I had held one of these back, I could have been okay. Possible misplay there. I'll let you guys decide in the comments. But here comes round 2. We'll give it another try and hopefully take them out with the Surveil mechanic. Here we go. Alright, round 2. Could be against another red mage here. Good cards in this hand. I'm happy to see them. Unfortunately, we're a little slow on the mana front, so I'll go ahead and find a blue one. And I think that I can avoid taking damage here. Actually, no, I can't because I don't play blue basic. That's right. It'll be a Watery Grave then. We'll drop out the Phantasm, and then next turn we're going to be able to trigger it twice, playing this Otherworldly Graze. And then the following turns either Spybug or Enhanced Surveillance. So we'll go ahead and Otherworldly Gaze first. Consider Otherworldly Gaze. Wow. So let's see. Let me look at how the mana is going to line up here. I'll have 2 mana next turn to play Spybug, so I'll be tapping out for that. After that, I will need a 1 mana thing to do at some point. I think Consider is a good one to have. So I'll do this. Another trigger on that one. Leave that Consider on top. Looks like my Phantasm goes away. That's unfortunate. So here's going to be a Spybug. Let's get that thing ready to roll. There's Thundering Falls. Let's trigger it. I would like a land for next turn. Looks like it's a similar matchup to the last game, actually, which is pretty interesting. I mean, we are just going to continue to do the thing. I don't think I need to shock in the Steam Vents, I'll just Consider. Lots of removal here. I mean, I'm at least glad that it's not coming at my face. I'd be pretty dead. Then Thundering Falls here. Would I like that? I guess I have Enhanced Surveillance plus Otherworldly Gaze to work with, so I'll draw that land. My turn draw. Alright, so we'll go Enhanced Surveillance first. And And then I suppose I'll just hold the Thundering Falls for in case I find something to do with in case I find a Phantasm or a Spybug. Risk factor. Well, we will be taking the 4 here. Critics, sure. Let's Surveil 5. So Underworld Breach gets me stuff out of my graveyard. I will have 3 mana to work with after that, so that's 1 Spybug and 1 other spell. I think that's okay. We'll be very close to getting a Phantasm that can attack. Well, actually, we don't have a Phantasm anymore because it got exiled. So it will have to be a Spybug. Here's Underworld Breach. We're going for that value breach today. So here is the Mirror Spybug. We're going to exile Campaign and some Considers, I think. We'll keep 1 Consider, most likely. That 1 Consider will be used now. Getting rid of other Consider and these 3, I think. I don't know if I want to keep the Spybug. We'll get rid of the Bloodstained Mire and the Otherworldly Gaze. We don't have to make that decision just yet. And we want the Thoughtbound Phantasm. Steam Vents would be good. I think actually the DRC is pretty solid. So we could take DRC, but then we don't have anything to work with. Yeah, these are going to just have to be out of the graveyard. And we'll just try to draw another Underworld Breach, I think, eventually. Okay, we have another Spybug in hand. Here's Thundering Falls. Boom, boom, boom. We'll Surveil a bunch of cards into the graveyard, I guess. So we just set up for this next Underworld Breach. Alright, Spybug getting bigger. We do hit for a decent amount next turn. Alright. We'll pass with just a Spybug in hand and no way to Surveil. Oh, and they just kill it. That's unfortunate. Oh, looks like we'll be playing a bit of a slow game here. If we draw a Underworld Breach, we're going to be feeling pretty solid, though. Unfortunately, no such luck. We'll Surveil. Now, let's find a spell here or a breach. That'd be great. Phantasm. I mean, we need a way to Surveil, and we don't have it yet, so I'm not sure I can do this. Bloodstained Mire does represent a Surveil, but I'd rather just draw a card at some point. Playing for the Underworld Breach seems to be more palatable than just going for a single Surveil on the following turn. That's definitely one downside of this somewhat janky deck, is that if you don't have a very strong start, the rest of the start is generally not that great. We go to 9, and we will get our turn back, which is cool. There's a breach, so we're going to send that off. We have a lot of stuff to work with here, so I will probably drop a DRC first. We can get a Phantasm in to defend, and then start cracking off some spells. So we'll go 1, 2. We don't need the second Phantasm, and I don't think we're taking another Spybug. We will go Phantasm, exile 3, then consider, exile another 3. If I want to keep going, if I go consider now, it's get rid of 3, mill 1, so then I'll have 5. Consider again, mill 3, I'll have 3 again. Okay, so probably just want to go like this. We're going to just play to consider 3 times. And right, the Surveil gives us more cards. I forget that that's how this works. Okay, that's great. Triple Mithra's Bauble, you got it. And yeah, so now that we have all these cards, we can go and put in more DRCs. Getting rid of the things that do not involve surveillance. We'll take one of those Phantasms now. Getting rid of Breach, land, and land. And now we want to start doing our consider stuff. So consider going 1, 2, 3, and here we go. Now we're putting a lot of crap into the graveyard. We are out of mana, but this is looking great for us here. We have just 18 cards left in deck, so that is something to think about. I think for some of these Surveils, I guess I will just keep them on top. And we will just make our card very big. So Phantasm can block. We have Polluted Delta. We'll go ahead and stop that, shuffling our deck. We'll get something that involves surveilling. And we'll take the fetch land, I think, instead. And this is a pretty solid setup we got here. Get rid of a land and a land. Here we go. Trigger, trigger. We can draw the... We can draw that, and I'm not going to do anything else because we don't have any mana to cast stuff. Okay. Cool. So we're going to get in here for 10. And we have a kill next turn in a lot of different ways. This is 15 cards in deck here, so we got to be a little bit cognizant about that, but we need to just survive whatever attacks and make sure that they only have 2 ways to deal damage to us. Here comes Risk Factor. I have to take the Florida. And hopefully they don't have anything else. Looks like we got lucky here. Alright, pretty nice one. This one was a lot of fun. I think that I will make one amendment to the deck because we do have situations with Enhanced Surveillance that can get us into these little loops here. It could be nice to have a Grape Shot in the deck. And while I'm not sure I want to do it for this build, and I think I will actually save that for later, I have a bit of a brew going around in my head currently that involves kind of smashing the red Storm decks into this whole Surveil archetype, because DRCs plus Enhanced Surveillance is very, very close to breaching out an infinite amount of times. So that's something that is pretty unique and we're going to want to think about going forward. So anyways, I would love to hear what you guys think about that, and if you have any sort of ideas on how I can make that deck work. I'll be trying to brew something and show it to you guys at some point. But for now, let's continue with this deck as is. I've changed my mind. Here comes round 3. I'll see you there. Alright, round 3. Let's go. We have a DRC. It's got a lot of stuff that it can surveil alongside with. Give it a try. Bloodstained Mire will find a Blood Crypt. Pay 2 life. We'll see. Oh, actually, did not realize that these are both tapped lands. Unfortunate. And I guess it's getting bolted out anyway. The matchups here are a little tough given that we're playing so much just damage-based damage. I'm going to keep that DRC here. I think I'm going to use it to just start surveilling. Bomat Courier, Mono Red Aggro. A lot of these matchups for me while recording. I've only shown a few of them so far. But yeah, definitely having a tough time with some of these ones. So Thoughtbound Phantasm, DRC, Surveil. Now we got a blocker. Oh, Mishra's Bauble. Well, I guess I want that in the graveyard anyway. Puts us to 3. And what do we need next? Consider we'll do it next turn. Bomat Courier. Bomat Courier. Okay, so they're just setting up to attack. Sure. We will eat the one that has more cards exiled with it. Go to 13. We get another Thoughtbound Phantasm, so I can either Enhance Surveillance or Consider. I think that we already have enough coming from DRC plus the Consider Surveil itself to make this worth it, so I'm going to start making some big creatures. Consider. Surveil the land. Trigger, trigger. DRC gets big. We'll put the Mishra's Bauble away as well. We draw a fetch land. Trigger. So this is 8 damage. It's lethal next turn. I can Enhance Surveillance now. I think I'll just get basic blue here. So Enhance Surveillance, trigger, surveil. That would give me a 6 plus 3 is 9, and then the following turn is just about lethal. Okay, we were the aggressive deck this game. It's probably worth mentioning that I've played a lot of other games where damage-based removal has been pretty brutal for me. Definitely kind of a tough situation to be in here where there's so much Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, and things of that nature going around. Also notably, the Hateful Eidolon is a card that is very difficult for this deck to beat. So if you find yourself going up against that card, would highly recommend some Fatal Pushes and Bolts of your own. But that's going to put us into our 4th round coming up right now. I'll see you there. Okay, round 4. Dimir Spybug in the opener. I'm not a huge fan of having Mishra's Bauble without DRC. So that would just be a redraw here. So I'd be considering first off of Steam Vents, then turn 2 Shock Blood Crypt, get Spybug out. Turn 3 Taigam Scheming plus Raucous Theater. I mean, sure, I'll try. So turn 1 is basically just a redraw turn. And turn 2, get a threat out. Turn 3, hopefully get going. I think I'm probably surveilling anything into the graveyard. I'd leave a DRC on top, though. We'll brainstorm, okay. Bad day to not be playing Orcish Bowmasters, that's for sure. That definitely hits the bin. We go for the Bauble, we find a Steam Vents next. Merfolk, okay. So we just want to get bigger before they can get big. And they're going to get big quick, so that's going to be great. Overcosted Silvergill Adept. No, Spreading Seas. Okay, so this is just an island now. Luckily, that's fine for me because I can just Dimir Spybug. Alright, we get to Surveil next turn, drop another Spybug, potentially. Maybe they take a while to get these Silvergill Adepts out. They failed to affect my mana thus far. Surprised to see a non-Merfolk card in a Merfolk deck. So, interesting to see what they might have in this here. Is this the one that gives ward to everything? Yes, it is. Unlucky for you, I have 0 removal. Spybug, and we will drop a land that surveils. I think I'd like a DRC. Trigger, we get to go in. And this is 4 damage in the air that increased with every surveil that I do. So it's 1, 2 next turn. 3 from the DRC. So I can hit for 10 next turn if I have done my math right. That's definitely really strong. I'm just hoping that their plan is to not really do much other than play a bunch of Merfolk, because we may be able to race them. So we go DRC. Oh, I need to play the land first. Crap. That's actually not terrible. Oh, I just don't get the Surveil. Fine. Here's the DRC. I have something that can be flashed in. Okay, that's good to know. What is the flash Merfolk? There's Merfolk Trickster. There's the Anthem one that comes in on the ground, but most Merfolk are on the ground, so I'm going to go ahead and tag him Scheming now. We do get to Surveil. I'm probably putting everything into the graveyard. I tap my Dimir Spybug. Okay. So I don't get as much Surveil power as I want. It is what it is. DRC gets big and angry. They're going to spell pierce that. Okay. Well, I get to hit in with 3 here, or I get to block a Merfolk Trickster. I think I'm going to attack in. I'm likely to block with DRC unless they very obviously hold up a flash creature. Silvergill Adept. Dealing another indestructible creature. So if they attack with Merfolk Trickster, I think it's probably not blocking. Okay, there we go. So I cannot block anymore. That's why they have Spreading Seas here. Got it. Puts me to 6. Alright, I gotta figure out how to win the game here. So, 14. I will need to cast this. Have to put that in the grave. Trigger. That is 10. I think we're just gonna get to 12, unfortunately. No lightning bolts in the deck, sadly. Yeah, that's unfortunately gonna be it here. All I can do is look at the top of their library, stifle on top. We must attack, and nothing can block, so I might as well go all the way in. That is just 12 damage. They go to 2. Dang, we came really close. This probably is going to be another good reason to put Lightning Bolt in your deck. Possibly you do it as a 1 or 2 of. Yeah, so that's pretty big aggression here in Mono Blue Merfolk. Strong deck. As generally been in like historic and all the MTGA formats. Seeming like the Spreading Seas version could be pretty decent in Timeless as well. Maybe I'll give it a try in the future. We'll have to see. But that brings us to the end of round 4. We have one final round here. Going to try to get the deck to do its thing in the final round. Here we go. All right, in the 5th and final round, we're given a hand without creatures, so I got a mullet. Ooh, we get another one with only 1 land. That can't be taken. We'll keep this 5, getting rid of the expensive most 2 cards. And this is for sure going to be a tough one here. We have to start on this Surveil. Or do we? Yeah, I think we'll just play this a turn off, maybe? No, we go Spybug on 2, turn 3, Scheming, Rage, Bauble. So we'll miss out on this Surveil, but it'll be okay. If I take this Bauble, that's an extra Surveil off the DRC next turn, so we'll do that. We have a Mishra's Bauble Mirror here, so we'll have to see what they want to be doing here. They might take a look at my top, see a Mishra's Bauble Mirror match coming up. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna get this Spybug in if we want to, or we can go for the DRC. I'm gonna be a little greedy here and attempt for the Spybug. Because if this thing sticks, or they decide to let it stick, it could be very good for us. I want red, blue. Spybug. With a 3rd land, Tagum Scheming becomes pretty sweet on top of DRC. We'll be able to cast more spells. Seek No Knowledge. Okay, so maybe not a DRC aggro deck. I feel like that's all I've been playing really this series. It would be nice to find something that is not exactly that. Looks like we're going to get this turn passed back to us here. We're going to go with the DRC. We want to keep the blue mana up. Perfect. Let's see if we're allowed to have this. Opponent's given it some thought. We'll go for the Bauble. Start to get our Surveils off. Don't want the Scheming. We will do this again. They're brainstorming here, looking for something to do against us. See if they have removal for DRC. Oh, they're actually just going to take the Spybug out. Okay. Seems okay. We still get to start to fill up our graveyard, which is cool. DRC is big now. We'll pay the 2 life here. Tag them Scheming, Surveil 5, and we'll set up our next turn, hopefully. Next few turns, that is. Bauble. Enhanced Surveillance would be nice at some point. Baubles suck unless the DRC pulls them. Or unless the DRC is around to use them. And they've shown me that they have Unholy Heat already, so not feeling super bullish on that. So maybe I just take Enhanced Surveillance, or maybe I don't even take it at all. I just go for filling up the graveyard, maybe get a redraw of the Oops. Maybe get a redraw of the... Okay, that's not what I was hoping for. We might redraw our Breach. Wow, I could not remember the name of the card, and then luckily we just were able to draw it. Hilarious. Okay, so Breach doesn't really allow us to cast much, which is the awkward thing here. Dig Through Time, they run Fae of Wishes, some sort of combo deck. Could be Show and Tell, Sneak Attack, a lot of different things. Really don't know what I'm playing yet. But what I do know is we have a DRC that is angry and ready to attack. We can redraw a bunch through Mishra's Baubles, I suppose. Is that really what I'm doing? I'm just value breaching like that? It is actually not too bad. We'll go Breach. I did this in the wrong order. This DRC should have gone first. Alright, there's other DRC. And yeah, we're just going to eat our graveyard doing Mishra's Bauble stuff. Bauble, 1, 2, 3. Everything goes to the graveyard. Okay. This is a situation where it would be really nice to have that grape shot. Fortunately, do not get it. Let's see what we can draw. Look at the top of theirs. We know that they have Unholy Heat on the top. Okay. Just bauble. Get rid of the things that are not castable. Get rid of a land. I think I should make this a little bit easier on myself and move to combat here. We'll attack in with our 3 damage. And then now we don't care if we go out of the Surveil ability. We will set the draw. Another bauble. 1, 2, 3. I want to save sorceries where possible. Mire short. I guess I'll just kind of go until I hit another breach, and then I can just try again the next turn. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Yeah, kind of just aimlessly going here. I think the idea is to set up another Underworld breach here. The Phantasm is eventually going to be really good, so I'm going to make sure that I keep this in the graveyard. Bauble, so get rid of 1, 2, 3. I want to keep the Scheming, probably. Then I'll do one more where I get rid of the baubles. That's one more bauble. Getting rid of Mire, this and this. And for the last one, we'll do a Mishra's Bauble cast. Consider goes away. Consider goes away. Okay, let's make sure that we draw some cards here. Next is the Thundering Falls, okay. Yeah, so we'll just redraw our hand here pretty soon. 28 cards left in library. We'll keep doing this for as long as it's possible. Cast. Get rid of Consider, Bauble. We'll keep a Consider, actually. We don't need that many baubles. And this may be the second to last time that we can do this loop. Another DRC. And let's go ahead and crack this, targeting... I think I'm going to maintain Delirium in this situation. Yeah, I think I want to do that since they don't have Unholy Heat online yet. We'll Surveil here, get rid of that land, and yeah, I think we're good. Last turn here, sack Underworld Breach, and we're set up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a whole hand's worth of Mishra's Baubles draws. Love to see it. Let's see how well we hit. So far, not so great, but that Underworld Breach is nice. Unfortunately, some pretty not great draws. We can just have a big setup turn with double Dimir Spybug, though. And then Bloodstained Mire can... Oh, God. Okay, that makes things a little bit yikesy. So this would be Breach doing not a whole lot. Maybe getting another DRC out. That's not my only creature, so that is possible. We will play another Mountain and probably just value Breach here. Trigger. Yeah, at this point we just need to win with red cards, which is possible in this deck. We have the setup for it. We already have a breach. I think we'll just start picking up breaches, so when they eventually kill our DRCs, we'll be able to be okay about it. So now we get rid of everything that is either a land or uses non-red mana. Yeah, I think we can definitely still win through this Blood Moon. We'll go Bauble, getting rid of 1, 2, and the other breach in the graveyard we don't need. So now we can theoretically cast infinitely. If we had grape shots, we would be able to win. Unfortunately, we don't. So we'll go ahead and just make sure that we get a draw here, their top, and draw this breach on their upkeep. Oh, so now they can. Okay. Well, Supreme Will, sure. That's a little annoying. We can go Breach again, pick up our DRC potentially. I will just attack in here. That's a little unfortunate to see. Yeah, we took one too many lands out. Okay. So I can go Breach again. This is just a mountain. We go Breach. Breach does nothing. We can Surveil into the graveyard though, which is the strong part about this. Creature goes. And instant goes. Alright, cool. We're back to Delirium. Let's get it. We're swinging out. We're not casting DRC because we can't afford it. Here we go. They go to 8. We say go. Let's see what they can cast. Impulse, sure. They have Wishes does hard stop a DRC. Bauble would be a little bit risky. I guess I end this turn. Brainstorm, I mean, they're just drawing so many cards here. We're down to 12, which is a little scary. Just need to make some good decisions here and hope that they don't really play anything. Mrs. Bauble, okay. They have Wishes, here it is. So now we're not looking super ideal. I guess I attack in. I'm trying to think if I can get this other DRC out. I think I'm going to take my 6 damage where possible. Or, sorry, my 3 damage. And is it worth a breach? I don't think that it is. Alright. Polluted Delta, it is what it is. That is just unfortunately a it's just a mountain. You can put them to 2 here. This is the slow boat right now. And I think honestly I just kind of am going to chill here. If they remove a creature from the battlefield, then I will breach and bring it back. We have 2 spells to cast out of the graveyard, basically. Dig Through Time. I mean, if there was a card that was going to do it, you would think they would have found it by now. So I am cautiously optimistic. But what a slow game this has turned out to be. Other than just playing a Blood Moon and hoping I can see it, I'm not really seeing a win here. And the show and tell is likely going to be what we are the most worried about. So I think I want the Spy Bug. I want another creature in the air. I potentially also want something that's going to be able to block. So I mean, Dimir Spy Bug seems like the move. It is Omniscience. They can Fae of Wishes, bring it back to their hand, and then kill me out of the sideboard. So I think I've all but lost this game. Let's see if they can execute. Alright, and they figured it out. That's 10 goals for 9, and we are dead. That brings us to the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I thought that this was a very, very interesting deck. It definitely had its moments. I think that there's going to need to be some additional work done on this deck if we want to really make it a viable strategy. But if you guys end up putting in the work to see what you can do on your own with this on the ladder, I would definitely be enjoyed to hear what you guys did and how it worked. So leave a comment down below, like the video, all that YouTube stuff. Subscribe if you're new for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that's all from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out the deck list in the description, and that is it. I'll see you in the next one.